Modern Skein podcast. My name is Sharon Graff, and I'm the owner of the Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I have a lot of new followers thanks to some mentions from some people's podcasts, one of which actually a couple weeks ago was Chelsea Yarns. So thanks, Christina Merriam, and I cannot wait to see you at Vogue in just, gosh, I think it's like 4 weeks. It's so, I'm so excited. And I know Sodor Stitcher has mentioned me several times as well as the Catnip podcast. And if there's anyone else, I am terribly sorry for not either knowing or forgetting your name. So thank you so much. If you do enjoy this podcast, I would love it if you give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe and the little bell button to get your notifications when I upload a new podcast. My goal this year is to upload a podcast every single week. Typically, I am able to film them on Mondays and get them uploaded by Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest with editing and having the shop open and all that fun stuff. So, I'm so excited. I'm back. I was gone 2 weeks ago to Scotland. Yay! And I posted a little mini podcast for episode 26 of our adventures in Scotland. And then last week I was off because of Christmas. Excuse me. So, yeah, I'm just kind of getting my groove back. So, bear with me. I do have actually, so typically, let's just start over here. Typically, I start off with any finished objects that I might have, and then any works in progress, and then we go into what's new in the shop, what's maybe caught my eye on Ravelry, what I've seen on other people's podcasts, things I like, all that fun stuff. I actually have 2 finished objects since the last podcast. However, I think I only walked out the door with one of them. Actually, I walked out the door with none of them. One just happened to be in the shop. Let me double check here. But, no. So, I'll show you this one. This is the My Chrysalis Shawl by Lavanya Patricella. It is blocked. No, it's not blocked. It's not blocked yet. I want to see if it would be best to wet block or steam block the baby Siri. And I haven't had time with Christmas and everything else going on to figure that out. So it is yet to be blocked. But I'm going to take this home and do some Ravelry searches and Googling and see if I should steam it or if I should wet block it. I'm leaning towards wet blocking the baby Siri because it would be like mohair. I just want to do some double checking. So this is the My Chrysalis Shawl. It's a semi-triangular shaped shawl. I say semi because it kind of starts off here kind of in a funky little shape. Kind of like a chrysalis, you know, has that little bump thing. And then going into, if I can hold it, going into this. So, how would you wear it? I would wear it like so. It's really light. It's big. So if you are a fan of like chunky scarves, shawls, but you're from Texas or from some other warmer climate and you're concerned about being able to only wear it once or no time of the year because of your weather, I think baby Siri, because it's not chunky by any means. It's really only like a heavy fingering to sport weight yarn. But it kind of, once you knit it up, it gives you that bulky, cozy, chunky texture, but still very light. I mean, this is a very light, floofy shawl. Very floofy. Give you a close up. So the yarn in here is both Qing fibers. The orangey reddish rust color is Annie, and it is on her sock base. And then the Baby Siri is, of course, Melted Baby Siri in the colorway Smoke. I do have a very large order of Melted Baby Siri hurtling its way towards me. However, I believe the hurtling has stopped in customs. I got the notification that it shipped about a week before Christmas. It actually shipped the day we left for Scotland. And it has left Ching. It has not made it to U.S. UPS delivery from customs. So it's somewhere in between. My guess is it's holed up in customs because I also have 2 other orders, or 2 other boxes that are in customs. So I have like 3 boxes in customs. Hopefully they're just taking their sweet time over Christmas break, and we'll be back at it after the 1st. So we want our yarn people. Hello. Okay, so then the other invisible finished object is my just forgot the name of it, Night Shift shawl by Andrea Mowry, and I knitted up in Spin Cycle yarn. I don't carry Spin Cycle yarn yet. Hoping to, fingers crossed, next year. We're on the waiting list, so that will be so much fun if we can get Spin Cycle. Anyway, totally sidetracked. My Night Shift shawl, I'll have to bring it to the next podcast and I'll show it to you then. But if you cannot wait a single second more, go to my Instagram, Mrs_Sharon_Graff, Graff, and you will see a picture of it blocked. And I'll probably post a picture later today of me wearing said Night Shift shawl. Again, it is a worsted weight shawl, so it's big and squishy, but it is also at the same time light. I don't know how it's done, how it works out that way, but it is a very lightweight yet chunky shawl. So I'm really liking knitting with heavier things right now. I'll have to show you now that we're moving on to works in progress. First off, I will show you what you know I've already been working on. And that is my Guthrie sweater. Now, I know at one point I was thinking, oh, I can finish the Guthrie sweater and that'll be my 13th sweater for the year. That's not going to happen because of 2 reasons. One, I'm just not going to be able to finish it. 2, I just dropped stitches. That's not the second reason. The really main reason, I could finish this. Maybe. If I stayed up all night. If I had worked on it the past 4 days, yes. But I only worked on it one of the past 4 days. But the main reason is I want to let you guys know, you guys meaning people in the shop, and if you're not local to the shop, I will do like an Instagram live, is I'm going to steek it live here at the shop. I have decided that. So I did finish the body. So I'll let you see here. Ta-da! And so this bottom cable is actually, or bottom hem ribbing is cabled, which was really neat. I hadn't done that before. It's really easy, and it gives a really cool look. So I am going to finish the sleeves, and sometime in January, we'll announce a time, and I will steek it. And you may notice that there's no steeking things in here because I wasn't sure in the beginning if I was going to steek it or not. So what I will be doing to reinforce this is sewing it on my sewing machine, reinforcing the sides, and then bringing it in, and we'll steek it, and then I will do what I think I'm going to do is actually pick up this collar edge, knit an extended high collar, and then knit a front ribbing, kind of an overlapping front ribbing with no buttons. So it gives it more of a presence, if you will, and not just I steeked a plain Guthrie. Not that it's plain by any means. I mean, it's all over colorwork. And I did it in Spin Cycle, Dream State. Color is, I think, Robin's Egg. I think Robin's Egg may be from my other one. Maybe it's not Robin's Egg. Do I still have the thing? No. Anyway, it's something. And Farmer's Daughter's Fiber, which is the background color. You can really see it here on this back part. In their Craggy DK base, and the colorway is Castle Rock, which is kind of a, it looks blue if you put it up to gray, it looks gray if you put it up to blue, so it's kind of a really nice combo blue-gray. That was really technical. So that is my Guthrie. So all I have left to do on that is the sleeves. Excuse me. Now, what I've actually been working on the past 3 days. So for Christmas, I ordered myself, I actually think I ordered it Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I cannot remember which now. I went on to Tolt Yarn and Fiber website, and I ordered, back up. I was watching, I think it was Christmas Eve, Chelsea Yarns podcast. Hey, Christine and Miriam. And Christine, and now I've been seeing her knit her Turtle Dove sweater for a while, was saying, because she finished her Turtle Dove, and I've seen the Turtle Dove on the Espace Tricot ladies and on several other people, Grocery Girls, somebody else. There's a lot of people making the Turtle Dove. And she mentioned, yes, I finished my Turtle Dove, and I'm going to wear it with leather pants, and it's going to be my Vogue sweater. And for whatever reason, I was just like, I need a Vogue sweater. And I already own black leather pants. So I went on to, I went on to just about everyone in the continental United States that sold Woolfolk yarn online, because what I was really wanting was either the black or the navy blue, but of course that's sold out. So I found, then I was like, I just need a sweater's quantity of all of them, and I looked at the pattern. It's a free pattern, by the way, from Espace Tricot, available on Ravelry. Just search Turtle Dove and it's a free download. And I know that Christine did hers, I think, even more cropped than the pattern called for, but the sweater's not really cropped, it's not really long. It's kind of just, it hits you in the mid-hip, I believe, if you were to knit it as normal. I decided, however, that I didn't want the 15 inches of positive ease. I still wanted ease, mind you, but I only wanted maybe 6 to 7 inches of positive ease. And so I decided to knit the small, not the extra small, but just the small. And maybe it's not small. Maybe she only goes small, medium, large. Anyway, it was the second from the smallest size included in the pattern. And I found Tolt's website had a sweater's quantity with extra, because I knew I was going to make it longer. So I went ahead and ordered one skein extra, because the size that I was going to knit, it called for 9 skeins. I knew I wanted it longer, so I went ahead and ordered 10. I think I will actually have an extra skein left over, so I'm knitting the sleeves as called for in the pattern. Once I try it on finished, I may go back and extend the sleeves if I decide I want the sleeves longer. But, so I got this yarn bright and early on the morning of, let's see, what's today? Oh, that's my phone. Today is the 31st. Yesterday was the 30th, which was Saturday. Friday was the day I worked out. Yeah. So, Friday morning, I got the yarn. And I cast on at, I believe it was 11 o'clock. And I started knitting. And, had stuff to do, stopped, yada, yada, yada. Started knitting again that night and realized this is going fast. It's a bulky white sweater. Can I knit this in 4 days? And the answer is resoundingly going to be yes. I almost knit it in 3 days. This is my almost completed turtle dove. You can see all I have to do is bind off this sleeve and knit this sleeve. I imagine that will, and then steam it, because the pattern recommends steaming with Woolfolk because of the fuzziness and everything. So steam blocking, and it's also cotton core. And you can see I knit it longer. I did the split twisted rib, so this is longer in the back. So with binding off this sleeve, knitting the other sleeve, and weaving in my ends, no more than 2 hours left, which will mean that this sweater will have been knitted in 18 hours. I kind of surprised myself with that. Now, the modifications that I did, I really don't have a long neck. So rather than the 4 inches, I did 2.5. I just kind of measured what would be flattering for my neck because I didn't want it to roll over. I also did 1 extra short row in the back. So it says, it's a free pattern, so I'm not really giving it away. But it says you basically do 2 short rows, starting with like 4 stitches from the marker, and I added a second one, so I started with like 6 and then 4 and then 2, if that makes sense. So I added an extra row of the short row for the back side. I think that'll just sit a little bit nicer on the back of my neck. And then the rest is knit as in pattern, except, so knitting from here before you split. The pattern, if you do the split hem, it says to knit for 6 inches. I knit for 12, and then split. And then I knit this at 4 inches and this at like 5.5 or maybe 6. I didn't even measure. It's like, okay, that looks good. I think that's like 1.5 inches. And then cast on my sleeves, and so far the sleeves are the same 6 inches in the pattern with I think I'm gonna go ahead and do like a 3-inch cuff on each side, and then once I try it on, if I'll be fine if it basically hits me here. If it's any shorter than that, I will undo the cast on or bind off and knit them longer. But this is the colorway L8. They're calling it mauve. It's not mauve. It's not. There's the palest of a purplyish undertone in direct sunlight. Other than that, it's like a gray taupe, a greigey. It's not really even greige, because there's not really beige in it. It's like a gray taupe color, which I love. So I was kind of worried when it said light mauve. It's like, ooh, I do not want it to be pink, but thankfully it's not. So I am very happy. I did try this on already before I split for the hem to make sure the length was where I wanted it, and it was fitting really nicely. So I can't wait. So I will get this finished today. That will be a 4-day, 18 hours worth of knitting sweater. Yes, that's fast. I totally admit that is super fast. So I guess I'm admitting I am a fast knitter. But bear in mind, this is a bulky weight sweater knit on 11s. It technically should be knit on a 10.75 US, but I don't have those. They're not in any kit that I have. I don't even have them in the store stocked to sell. I am getting them in, just in case anyone else wants to knit a turtle dove and actually, for sure get gauge. Needle size, though, has nothing to do with getting gauge. It's how you knit. Take that back. It does matter needle size, but you don't have to use the needle size listed on the pattern or on the ball to get the gauge necessarily. You need to use what you need to use to get the gauge. Now that I've thoroughly confused everyone on gauge, that's my turtle dove. So I will be wearing this with my leather pants and some black leather boots to Vogue. Woo! I'm so excited about Vogue. So if you're going to Vogue, let me know. Before Vogue, I am actually flying up a day ahead of time and taking the train down to Red Bank, New Jersey, and visiting Christine and Miriam at Chelsea Yarns, and taking Red Bank Mike cookies, because that's apparently what we do. So that's really all my works in progress. I do want to show you guys, because I didn't on the last episode. I don't know, you guys, well, I think you guys care. I don't know. But if you don't care about the yarn that I got in Scotland, fast forward. If you do, take a look. So, first off, I visited an amazing store called Wool for You, EWE. And the owner was there. She's super sweet. And I picked up a sweater's quantity of yarn from Scotland. It's 100% Scottish lamb's wool. And you may have heard the brand if you've watched the Knot House podcast or the Fruity Knitting podcast. I know the Fruity Knitting ladies, or lady and man, Andrew and Andrea, they interviewed this lady who is the creator of this yarn, and it was really neat to be able to buy her yarn, and that it was 100% Scottish. It's made in Scotland. I mean, the sheep are Scottish. They spin it in Scotland. It's dyed in Scotland. It's 100% Scotland. So this is Dye Gilpin yarn. There's the label. So there are a few places in the United States that sell Dye Gilpin. Woolly Thistle is an online retailer. I know the Knot House carries some of the Dye Gilpin yarns. She has several different bases, so I don't know who has what. But this is her Lawland base, which is a sport weight. 100% lamb's wool. It's almost chain plied. I don't think it technically is. Well, maybe it is. Really haven't looked at it that close. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's chain plied. So it has a really unique texture, and it's super lofty and nice. And so I'm going to do a sweater. 3 colors. This one is called Beech Nut. This is an ivory, and it's called Crowdy. And this green is called Collie. And I posted a picture a while back. It's the Hamble sweater by Isabel Kramer. And this is basically on the top portion. There's a small stripe of this cream color, and then the bottom, like this color that I'm wearing, is this with like an eyelet detail. So it's a sport weight sweater. It'll be a little bit lighter, and with the eyelets it'll be more of a spring fall kind of sweater, which will be nice to have around. Then we went to, I also picked up some other yarn there that I've already given away as gifts. Mr. G was the brand, and if you check out Cat Knit Podcast, I believe she mentioned it on there, but I gave her some hand-dyed yarns from Aberdeen. I believe it's Mr. G, picture of a cat. And then there was another yarn shop, I believe it's a Yarn Tale, and they had a trunk show in of this dyer, Jelly Beans, and she's Jelly Beans on Instagram, and this is Ember colorway, and so I know I'm going to make a shawl of some sort. Don't have the pattern yet. It is fingering weight. I really just want the yarn to show on this because this is just such a pretty fall yarn. And then last but not least, this will also be a shawl, and it will be a textured shawl. I'm not sure if that's going to mean cables, if that's going to mean lace. I really don't know at the moment. It is a DK weight. This is 100% Wensleydale. And so it's a very kind of fuzzy, halo-y, slightly rustic feeling yarn. 100% British wool. This is from West Yorkshire Spinners, this isn't a hand-dyed brand or anything. This is kind of a common British brand as far as I can tell. It is a total British brand. So it's British sheep, British sheared, and British spun. This one is from Keighley, England. Made in Yorkshire. And yeah, this is called Granite. The colorway is Granite. So it's a really nice, almost has a hint of a purple or a deep indigo undertone gray. I actually picked this up at a department store in Aberdeen. A department store called John Harris, which to me kind of reminded me of like our Dillard's or a Macy's in a way. So they had lots of clothes and stuff like that, but they also had appliances. They had a food hall, so you could get your groceries, and then they also had yarn and fabric, which was kind of awesome. It was like a one-stop shop, but really nice quality stuff. So yeah, that's what I got in Scotland. Trying to think. I mean, there's nothing else I got in Scotland, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to add to that conversation. And I have not had enough coffee today because not that I'm trying to cut back on coffee, but I am cutting back on the creamer and the sugar and the syrup and all that kind of stuff that I'm putting in there because, resolutions, and I ate way too many cookies, things. So water, yay! I am going to my knit group after this, and I will have coffee. I'll just get a non-fat coffee. Anyway, I'm just babbling at this point. What else do I need to talk about? New things in the shop. There's like 2 things left. You can see back here there's a fuzzy, the fuzzy Atenti bag, and we got another one of the, get my thumb here, shearling bags. And then there's a couple brightly colored ones. That's like all that's left from the Atenti bag update that we got. They blew out of here really fast. So if you see one that you like, grab it. They are online. They should be online. With me being gone and stuff coming in, there were some things that haven't gotten online. So I'll double check, and if they're not online, I will get them online. The other new things in the shop came in while I was gone, is we got in a new batch of yak from Yarn Carnival. So I'll go through the colors real quick. Where do I want to start? So these are all 70% merino, 20% yak, and 10% nylon. So they're great for socks. They're all really rich colorways, as you can see. This is kind of, and they're all variegated. They're just very, very slightly variegated. So this is a maroon and brown kind of mix called Barrel Rider. It's a really nice one. Then you have this one, which is quite possibly one of the brighter ones, called Frippery. And it's just a really nice magenta, but deep. So it's not like a day glow magenta, it's just a deep, rich magenta. Really nice. Then we have Embers, which has a lot of kind of color play. So you go from these light orangey bits into the russet maroon kind of colors, which is really pretty. That's Embers. Then one of my favorites, actually, I keep getting drawn to this color. It's called Beeswax, and I'm being drawn to these goldy. This looks like it has a green undertone. There is just a hint of a green undertone, but it's mostly like this mustardy color. But I'm really being drawn to the mustards right now. There was a lot of mustard and olive tones in Scotland. In the clothing stores, in the fabric shops, in the yarn shops. I know they're saying the color of the year is living coral, which, if you want to know what that's going to kind of look like, basically this, which is like obnoxious day glow coral orange. It's not even gonna, yeah, not my color, but if it's yours, awesome, it's the color of the year. But I'm really kind of claiming that like this and these kind of colors might be my colors. I mean, I'm not giving up my navy and my gray, don't worry. I love my navy and gray. I need another navy sweater. I do. Speaking of navy, this is Raven, which is a kind of purple undertoned navy, which is really pretty. Also has some black specks. And this is just a hair lighter. This is Good Night Sweet Prince. This has more of a gray undertone and less purple, and it's a wee bit lighter. This reminds me of Paris Night by Malabrigo, if you're familiar with it. Very similar, but again, a hair lighter. Not brighter, just lighter. Then we have these two, which are very similar. One is Ondine, which is this one, and this is Fjord. Now, the camera's actually doing a good job of showing you their differences. So Ondine is super variegated with blue and green. You can kind of see the blues and greens in there. Fjord is just the greeny teal bits, and it's pretty solid. It's a little more green than the camera's picking up, but it definitely is a teal with a green overtone rather than a blue, heavy blue. But that is all the colors of the Yak Attack that we have. The other updates, of course, tomorrow we get to cast on for the sweater knit along that we're hosting. So the only rule is, is that you have your sweater contain at least one skein purchased from the Modern Skein. It can be at any time since we've opened. That's totally fine. So if you want to use it from your stash, awesome. And any sweater pattern that you want to knit, you just have to cast on January 1st. There's a hashtag TMS sweater, KAL. It's on all of our social media. So tag your pictures, your progress photos, pictures of your yarn, all that fun stuff. And then you have till the end of March 31st, to complete your sweater. Again, any pattern. If we also have a sweater class starting January 10th. It's a 3-part class. Details are available in our newsletter, and if you send us a message, we can shoot you the details as well. That, of course, is in person here in Montgomery. Yeah, so we're going to cast on. I think I'm going to cast on with that Hamble sweater. I think. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I have 2 other sweaters. I mean, I'm finishing my turtle dove today. So, anyway. The other thing is we will be getting by the end of the week, we will have a lot more new Red Stag Fiber yarn. Josh is busy dyeing all this week. Dyeing up yarn, not dyeing. It's so funny when he tells somebody, especially in his family, yeah, I'm dyeing. And they're like, what? Like, no, dyeing yarn. Oh, okay. It's kind of funny. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, he's going to be dyeing up a lot of yarn, and we're going to have it in the shop by the end of the week. So if you're looking for sweater quantities, there will be a few DKs, and then some fingering weights that he's bringing into the shop. We have DK weight and worsted weight and sweater quantities still available in the shop. Of course, plenty of fingering weight. We can throw together fades for you. We can do a lot of options. Again, if you want to use stash, bring it in, and we'll find a skein of yarn to go with it so that you can put it together in a fun pattern and be able to participate in the knit along. The grand prize is a $75 gift certificate to the shop, so definitely something you want to participate in. We've also gotten in some new books, Knits About Winter we've got a restock in, and the new Pom Pom magazine winter guest edited by Nora Gaughan, that has been restocked as well. So if you're looking for those, we have them on the website. And I think I will stop rambling on. So thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. If you did enjoy this, we really would appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe. And if you don't, sorry, we're not for you. Hope you find a podcast that you do enjoy. So thanks again. Details about our website and email, our Instagram handles, Facebook, all that stuff will scroll at the end. But again, on Instagram, it's pretty easy, at themodernskein, themodernskein@gmail.com, themodernskein.com. It's all there. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope you have an amazing new year, and happy knitting!